Hey there, I'm Mike Dunn with Gaming Trend, and today I have a familiar face, Matthew Lillard. But this time, instead of talking about whiskey, he's going to talk to us about a new show he's got coming up called Faster Purple Worm Kill Kill. Uh, I kept on trying to get him to talk about this on our last interview, and thankfully he said, "No, wait, let's talk about it again soon." And so here we are.
How's that?
Matthew, give us first of all, welcome back.
Thanks, Mike.
Um, First, let's talk about the new show. I was able to kind of take a brief look at it, but I think maybe it'd be better coming from you.
Yeah, so Fast Perform Kill Kill is a co-production that we're doing with E1 for Dungeons and Dragons Adventure channel, which is on Plex and on Freevee. And the show is a 1 hour TPK show, so it's the story of four first level characters that go off into the world to become legends of the universe and end up, unfortunately for them, getting devoured by a epic level Dungeons and Dragons iconic monster. So it's a little like we pitch it as Whose Line Is It Anyways meets Dungeons and Dragons. Each show's 48 minutes and it's super fun. We're excited.
Yeah, I when I took a look at it, I got this kind of game show vibe from it, and it, I was actually surprised because I noticed that each episode has a different DM, but you also have a host who is separate from the DM.
Yeah.
Um, I guess just tell us about kind of how you kind of set that up, like
Yeah.
what inspired that kind of setup.
So look, but Beano and Grimm's is a company that's been around for 5 years. We understand that streaming's a big part of the D&D community. I mean, obviously you see the success that a show like Critical Role's had or Glass Cannon Network. And so for us, we were trying to crack the nut. Like, what is a Beano and Grimm's version of a streaming game, a D&D game? And we came across this idea that, look, uh, we consume media differently than a lot of kids, and like a 3 hour show is really hard to keep up with. I mean, we're 52-year-old, 53-year-old men, and so we sort of like, well, we want to do a shorter version, and the only way we could figure out how to do a shorter version was to kill everyone at the end of the version. So, and then
Nice.
it was like, for us, there's three components that sort of make it different from most games. We do have a host, so Bill Rayor is the host. He's one of the Beetle and Grimm's founding members. Um, the idea is that the game's so short and so fast that the DM sort of has to stay on target to deliver the game. And we wanted each game to feel different. So, the host provides the opportunity to throw curveballs to the players. It's a little like an improv game. He is able to manage like suggestions from the audience, and he can he sort of helps frame the show. The DM runs the game. Bill helps frame the show. We also do it in front of a live studio audience. So every single show is done in front of a crowd so that you have a performative nature about the game that's different than a lot of live play. And then we have a live accompaniment. We found this incredible musician named Scott Passarella. He plays every single show live and in the moment. So because and the game's it's irreverent. There's like a campiness, there's a bodiness to the game that has a different tone than a lot of live games you play. So one of the things that we're excited about is that this new approach, sort of the new way we're presenting the game, hopefully becomes a love letter for the game for people who may not be familiar with D&D, who may be intimidated with the sort of the rules. We're a very rules-like game. And this could hopefully onboard a whole new generation of players.
Nice. Yeah, it struck me as like a cross between something like Comedy Bang Bang and Price is Right, right? Like it's got kind of like that kind of spoof of a late night talk show kind of feel to it
Yeah.
with the host. But then there's occasionally you bring out like a wheel to spin
Yeah,
to
yeah.
find something.
Yeah.
Um,
Like
have you ever heard of a? Oh yeah, go ahead.
no, I was just about to say, like, for
Sorry.
us, we wanted the players to be to constantly throw things at the players, to challenge the players. I mean, there's one game that all the players sit down and we immediately turn them into a collection of goblins. There's
Nice.
things where the first episode you saw last night, we give everyone a disease that they've received from the styes. So, so there's a bunch of things that make the players sort of have to play with, with the given circumstances that we think makes it part of the fun.
Nice. Yeah, there's also another company that is making that they make adventures kind of on similar to like what you guys do at Beetle and Grimm's, but probably not as high end. But they're called Gooey Cube, and they did this thing at Gen Con this year called the Great Gooey Dungeon Game Show, and
That's
it was very similar in that like guests came in and assumed roles, and you had a wheel to spin, but they also had a huge dwarven forge setup out on the table in front of them. That was pretty cool. But I noticed you have a lot of guests, a lot of well-known guests, not only in the D&D all play community, but also some comedians. Can you talk a little bit more about those the guests that
yeah.
you have for this first season?
Well, first of all, I look forward to seeing Gooey Coop. I've never seen it, so that sounds awesome.
Oh, you should check them out. They're pretty cool.
Yeah, thanks. And then so for us, one of the things that we're most proud of the show is we have a diverse collection of players. We sort of represent the tapestry that is the TTRPG community, gender wise, diversity wise, culturally wise, ability wise. So that's one of the things we're super proud of. And then for us, look, I'm an actor. I mean, that's my day job, and so we definitely wanted this show to be telegenic. I mean, we wanted to bring in players that are not only known in the D&D space, but are known in like sort of as a, sort of in the broader sphere of entertainment, and those people are my friends. Like there's people we know, some of the people I knew, some of the people I didn't know, but like, Seth Green, Patton Oswalt, Skeet Ulrich, Deborah Ann Wool. I mean, there's like, we want that player who may not, or a family out there or a couple out there that may not know Dungeons and Dragons, but you may love Seth Green, and that's the reason you sit down. You may love Will Wheaton, and that's the reason you sit down. So that we're trying to make great television as well as great D&D content.
Now, you mentioned earlier how to actually see this. When do the episodes premiere, and how? I guess you mentioned Amazon and Plex. How does one go about seeing them? And I'm assuming that they will air at a certain time, but you can still go back and watch them.
Yeah, so the show actually premieres next week. You can follow us on
Okay.
socials, beetleandgrips.com. You can follow me, Matthew Lillard, on all socials. But we will then go. There's 2 episodes the first week, and then we'll go every Thursday and Saturday at 9 p.m. both Eastern time and West Coast time. So. And there's 20 episodes. I mean, the great news is there's 20 episodes. And Dungeons
Oh,
and
wow.
Dragons Adventures is like a new streaming service that you can find on Plex, you can find on Freevee. And it has another couple like original content shows. So it has Heroes Feast, which is a cooking show, and then it has Encounter Party,
Party.
sort
Yep.
of traditional a traditional live play show.
I love the idea, the concept of a total party kill. I mean, does literally every episode end with the party dead? Is that the goal? Does it sometimes not happen?
Yeah. It's great. It's a funny question because every time you
Spoiler
sort of
alert.
No, yeah, there's no spoiler. Every single episode, every single time, the character dies. There was, when we came up with the idea originally, we tested it a bunch of times, and we try to poke holes in it. Right, as you're testing something, you're trying to break something. Our belief is that if somebody dies some of the times, then every time everyone dies, it feels like they've lost or they've failed. And we realized that as we started to produce the show, there's two things that we're really proud of that, that we really like about the show. One of the things is that we do this thing called the epitaph. So at the end of the show, Bill Rayor, who's the host, asks every character, like sort of creates a moment for them to give their epitaph, which is this really sort
Nice.
of, there's a great way to find closure in this story. Like you fall in love with these characters, and then there's like this really sort of lovely way to close these characters out. But the show really becomes about what these heroes do in moments of no hope, right? Do they rise to the
Hmm.
challenge to be heroes and do what they can to save the day? And a lot of times their actions in those moments end up being ultimately super heroic. So yeah, every show, every character dies every time, until that doesn't happen. But as of right now, that's the plan.
Nice. Now I know Matt Mercer. One of his trademarks in the Critical Role all plays whenever a character defeats a monster, he turns to them and asks, "How do you want to do this?" Is there kind of a moment like that between the DM and the player when they actually die, or is that more defined by the DM than the player?
Yeah.
Because
So
I can imagine some hilarity like coming out from like Patton Oswalt or someone like that.
well, there's no
Just
doubt that
ridiculous, gruesome deaths.
yeah, there's no doubt that a lot of I mean the shows one of the great things is everyone plays differently. Like the table's different
Hmm.
every time. There's different DMs, different players, different worlds, different dynamics. Everyone's sitting down for the first time, like so I will say that one of the great things is that nothing is pat throughout all 20 shows. Each 20,
Nice,
all of there's an original tone and voice to all the shows. And that is built on how people are playing around the table. It was important to us that we really drove it, that we really solidified the idea that the game itself is really serious. We take the game seriously. There's incredible comedy born out of the stakes given in the game. There's not a lot of we try to avoid silliness,
mm,
and let the comedy come out of those moments. But yeah, in terms of like, um, there is this thing. The only thing I can think of that is like every show is that the show is called Faster Purple Worm Kill Kill. So what we
hmm,
because we have a live studio audience every single time they go Faster Purple Worm and then the audience screams Kill Kill, which is one of the things that came out of like the first show. Like the audience sort of got into it and started screaming "kill, kill," and
nice.
that is one of the things that carried through all 20 shows.
Well, fantastic. Definitely, we'll have to check out the show, and I'm very excited about all three of the shows that are premiering on the D&D Adventures channel. Now, Beatles and Grims has something else going on right now, and I imagine you can't talk too much about that, but I definitely want to find out a little bit more. You guys just launched a Kickstarter.
Yeah, we could definitely talk. We can talk about anything.
Oh,
I'll tell you if
we can
you want
talk
to
about it. All
know.
right, cool.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
called
yeah, yeah.
the first game produced by Beetle and Grimm's. We created a game called Ring of Chaos, and it's something that came up on one of we do a quarterly retreat every quarter. We sort of come together and sort of build for the next quarter as a company, and it's something we wanted to get into. We came up with an idea we fell in love with. All the art is original. The game's really fun. It's a board game meets a card game meets strategy. We've been play testing. We've been building it for a year. We've been play testing it the last 6 months, but it got to a place where we're super proud of it. Launched Kickstarter. We are at $200,000 in less than 48 hours, which for a game that's $80 for the
Nice.
platinum edition is real. We try to build value. We try to maintain like reasonable and healthy margins, but we're it's a really exciting time for us because we think that once the game gets out there, that it's going to have a really rich life.
Fantastic. Well, we're well accustomed to the quality that Beetle and Grimm's brings to the table, and definitely excited to check out that game. Will you be showing it off at PAX Unplugged by any chance?
Yeah, they're going to be doing demos at the table. So
Excellent.
still be going. Yeah, we'll still be producing. I mean, we're going to be in the middle of a Kickstarter, so hopefully that'll be a big moment
Yeah,
for us.
yeah.
Yeah.
And if I recall correctly, there's going to be a live episode. I don't know if you guys are going to film it, but there's going to be a live play of Faster Worm, Purple Worm, Kill Kill at
There
PAX
is.
Unplugged as well.
There absolutely is. The we one of the things that we love is that this, one of the first Gen Cons we went to, Critical Role had sold out the auditorium and played live, and we were amazed at how many people flocked to the auditorium and loved that whole experience. We are by no means Critical Role, but they are certainly a company to emulate and aspire to be. And so one of the great things that you know that that we love is that it's a 1 hour game. It's raucous, it's fun, and when you get in front of people, the more people that are there, the higher the energy gets around the table, and the more fun it is to play. So, super. We will continue to play that at Gen Con. We played last year at Gen Con to like a half quarter full audience, and we're hoping that as the show's successful, the community comes out and supports during live. But it's, as we're wrapping up here in a second, I think that's one of the great things to sort of talk about is that this opportunity, Dungeons and Dragons Adventures, is a moment where this is content being made for our community, the TTRPG community, and our hope is that people come out and find it. Right, without people seeing it, without people watching it, there's no hope to get this kind of stuff made again. And I mean, we're really proud of the show. I haven't seen the other shows, but I'm sure they're fantastic. But Faster Purple Worm Kill Kill is super fun time. It's like a love letter to Dungeons and Dragons, and we think that if you're out there and you like D&D or if you like 5e sort of content, this is going to be a hootenanny. So check it out.
I've been very surprised at how popular live plays have become. I never wouldn't in a million years would have guessed that when I was a kid playing this game.
Yeah,
right.
We've come a long way.
All right, well, quite a long way.
Yeah.
So make sure you viewers out there, make sure you watch Faster Purple Worm Kill Kill. Check out all the shows on Amazon Freevee and Plex for the new D&D channel, and go hit up that Kickstarter. Bump those numbers up. Beatles and Grimm's is a great company, and I'm sure the quality level is very high. And hopefully we'll get a preview of that as well when we go to PAX Unplugged at the beginning of next month. Matthew,
Awesome.
thanks again. And
Thanks.
well, I'm sure we'll see you around.
Awesome. Thanks, brother.